Hello, this video is going to walk you through lesson 4.3, matching lists in TechSmart, and this is practice number 1. So let's look at the instructions that they have for the assignment that we are supposed to be doing, and then we'll jump over to the code. So in this one, we need to write a menu where the user inputs each thing on it and its price, and the menu items are in the items list and the prices are in the prices list. So there's going to be two lists, and we use a for in range to go through both lists at the same time, printing each item next to its price. So it sounds pretty complicated, but we can definitely get this done. Let's look over at the code and make it work. Now, in this particular one, there's actually quite a lot of code written for us, but let's make sure we understand what everything is. So on lines 8 and 9 are our lists, items, and prices, and these are empty because we are actually filling this list up. We're adding some stuff to the list. We're going to add an item name, burger, fries, something like that, and we're going to add prices or a price. And then after we are done, then the print item is going to, actually before that, it'll say, welcome to Menu Builder, item, and then we're going to have our inputs, and then we're going to break the loop by typing in done right here. So while the item is not done, so until we type in done, then we're going to have an input that says enter an item or done to end. And then if we don't enter done, if we just say burger or something like that, then we're going to see the price, and that's going to be an input that's going to say what is the item's price. And it wants an integer, which means a whole number, not like $2.99. And then we're going to have items.append, so it's going to automatically append the item to here, and it's going to automatically append the price to here. So that's how the list gets built. And until I hit done, we continue to loop through this over and over and over again, and then we're going to print it out and print menu. Menu would be the stuff that I had ordered. And so all we have to do is go down here on line 28, and on 26 it says loop through the lists of items and prices and print each item with its price. So let's zoom in on that section of code and get this written out. All right, so down on line 28, let's do our loop for I in range. And kind of like the last demo, we're going to just say len items. And this is actually important because there are no items in there yet, so there's no length of the range. And so it's really good to programmatically figure out what the length of a range is, especially when the range may or will definitely change in its length. So let's close that out, do a colon, and then this is a pretty simple code because all I have to type in now is print, and then I'm going to do items at I. So I'm printing for each iteration. I'm going to print, or when I'm done, I'm going to iterate through, and it'll do the item at I, so the very first one to begin with, and then so on and so forth, plus, and then let's do a quote, and we're going to add some dots here so we could add a price. So we'll add a $sign and an end quote. So that sets up the structure between the item name and the price. Let's add another plus sign, and then let's make a string out of the price. So we're going to iterate through the list of prices, and then again we're going to look at I. And remember, we're matching the lists as we go through. So in I, in 0, for example, in the first one, whatever the item is in the items, burger or whatever, will match the price, the very first price, because we entered them at the same time. So if you can imagine them on a spreadsheet, they would be in different columns, but they would match in their rows. And then let's make sure that I close this out. So this, I think I need one more of those. There we go. So now this should work. Let's go ahead and run this code and test it. All right, let's go ahead and click the old run button here. And I see welcome to Menu Builder, enter an item or done to end. So down off your screen at the bottom, I'll say burger. And then what is the price? That's a $14 burger. And then let's enter another item, fries. Those are $7 fries. And then I want to get an unsweet iced tea. And that's a $16 iced tea. And that's all I need to eat. I spent about $37, which is too much for this amount of stuff. So let's go ahead and hit done and see what happens. Done. And I end up right here. Menu, burger, then ... $14. Fries are $7, and the unsweet iced tea is $16. So if you did your list and it looks kind of like mine and it works, then go ahead and turn this in. Good job.